1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, CQ, calling CQ the Old Friends Net. CQ the Old Friends Net. This net meets on this frequency 3 times weekly, Tuesdays and Thursday mornings at 8 a.m., Sunday evenings at 5 p.m. The net's conducted in the amplitude modulation mode, carried out in the roundtable format. Any station is welcome to participate that can generate an AM signal. The net does cater mainly to vintage equipment, but all stations are welcome. Any check-ins this morning for the Old Friends Net, give me a call and come now.
N4LQ. WB4ARK.
KZ4 Bravo.
KN4R. WB4NKL.
W4KR.
W4DCS.
November 4 Alpha Kilo.
W4MEC.
Okay, these are the stations that I've heard. N4LQ, WB4ARK, KZ4B, KN4R, WB4NKL, W4KR, sorry about that, Stan, W4DCS, N4AK, and W4MEC. Who did I miss?
K4GDN.
All right, got you, George, K4GDN. Any others? All right, one more time down the list. LQ, ARK, 4B, 4R, NKL, KR, DCS, AK, MEC, and GDN. Anyone else? Okay, good morning to everybody. We've got 46 degrees and clear skies here in the eastern jungles of Yancey County, and hope everybody is doing well. This, of course, is a day we remember 9/11, 24 years ago, and pray that it doesn't happen again. And, of course, we had sad activity yesterday when a sniper took out Charlie Kirk. So we this nation needs a lot of prayer. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. Steve, down to you. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, N4LQ. Yeah, bad day indeed. I really appreciated Charlie's ministry and what he did for the college kids. Well, got a question. A plumbing question, and to see if anybody's got any ideas. I want to insert a 4-inch diameter PVC T in a line. It's a 4-inch pipe, and I want to insert the T in there. The problem is I cannot move the pipe. It is rigid. It's fixed. So if you cut the if you cut the pipe, you cut a notch in it to put the T in there, how do you get it in there? Because it doesn't want to go. I just wondered if anybody has a suggestion. I'm running the 32V3 75A4 this morning, and the horizontal loop antenna. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Buddy. WB4ARK, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WB4ARK. Cut a bigger notch. Well, the weather here is clear, as it was yesterday, and coolish. It warmed up yesterday a little bit, and today I think it's supposed to be about the same. So we're, I guess, in for a spell of reoccurring weather conditions until it breaks. And so not much going on here. Repaired a meter for Butch Gibbons yesterday and got that done, and so we're just kind of kicking back. So over to KZ4B, WB4ARK.
Okay, WB4ARK in the group, KZ4 Bravo. Fine business, buddy. Steve, well, first of all, I'm on the usual T150, driving the AL82, feeding a dipole, resonant dipole up about 75 feet at the apex in an inverted V. Steve, on your problem, plumbing-wise, I don't know that I've seen it, but I think the solution, and I've seen the fittings in smaller pipe, what you need is a slip joint where you know, the problem with the union is that it doesn't change the length. But if you have a slip joint where there's a smaller diameter of pipe inside of a larger diameter pipe with an O-ring seal, then where it can change the length, then you could insert a T if you cut out enough of the straight section of the 4-inch pipe. So maybe I'm dreaming, but I would look for a slip joint. Shifting gears, it looks like those ferrites are working. Conditions are, of course, great today, and low band noise and all that, but the point is it's only S6 here, and normally, you know, it's S9 or S9 plus. So maybe I'm dreaming, but I think we maybe improved our situation. And even though my next door neighbor and his wife are in Hawaii, his daughter is there, so she's using some power. And she's house sitting, so it's not like it's just vacant. So I'm hoping that this will be a normal situation from here on out. And of course the weather's been fantastic, so I may celebrate by cutting grass today, who knows. Well, I have drug on too long, so take it away, Brian. KN4R in the group, KZ4B, over.
Okay, John. Very good. KZ4B in the Thursday Old Friends. Brian, KN4R on the Globe Champ, and listening on a SP600. This is an older JX6. This was a Al Parker W8UT renovation of a few years ago. I had sold it to my neighbor John Runsky, and he sold it back to me. So I've really been enjoying. It's a very interesting receiver, and it's hot, as Robert Van Sleen, W4AGO, used to talk about SP600s. Let's see, I went to a funeral yesterday for a buddy of mine I used to work with. He was 52, had a heart attack, but he was very active in the metal detecting world, and he had just paid off his house and just left corporate America, and he was out on his own doing some things on Etsy and all that, and then this happened. So anyway, and John, congratulations on your progress over there, your ferrites working, and the slip joint. So over to you, Cliff. How are you doing? WB4NKL in the group, KN4R. Yeah, KN4R, WB4NKL. Okay, Brian, I'm sorry to hear about your friend. That was young. Never know when we're going to leave here, though. Got 53 degrees here and pretty pleasant. It's supposed to be dry for a good while now. So after all this wet summer, it's going to be nice not to have to mow the yard every week. But they're talking about warmer weather on the way. I think the nights are still supposed to be cool, so that'll be pretty good. Steve, they make a 4-inch compression coupling, and you'd have to cut back the pipe on one side if you got enough room, and this thing will slide over that pipe, and then put your T in with a short stub in it, and then slide this compression coupling back over it, and then you tighten it up with just hand tied or wrenches, I guess. But the biggest problem when you get up into that size is they're expensive. I was looking at one here, it's like 27 bucks. But just a plain old 4-inch pipe's expensive. I needed a little short piece, and the shortest piece I could buy was like 5 feet, and they were wanting 20 bucks for it, seemed like at Lowe's. All that stuff's really went up. Send it on around. Go ahead, Stan. W4KR. It's WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff, thank you. Good morning, everybody. WB4NKL, this is W4KR. Well, again, good morning. Yes, yesterday was a terrible day. Terrible day. You know, it's being looked at, I guess I'm looking at that a little differently than some folks. Young Mr. Kirk, and by the way, I'm wearing a Charlie Kirk autographed hat this morning. He was kind enough to give me. Taking kind of a longer view, he was indeed making an impact on future generations, no question. Now, who would that most disadvantage? Would it be the opposition party? I'm not sure about that. Would it be just a nutcase? Possibly. But there are some foreign actors who tend to operate in a longer view mode than we do. Was that act yesterday to buy some insurance against long-term future trouble with the United States? But anyway, Steve, sounds like Cliff's got kind of an answer for you there on your problem. Temperature this morning is 54, and yesterday was the weather yesterday was great, and looks like today is going to be the same. And I got a little bit of outdoor work yesterday done yesterday, and I've got more to do today, so we'll get at it. Took down a couple of trees here, and about 2 weeks ago, and they were taken down because I wanted to take them down. They didn't blow down by themselves, although one of them was on the verge of that. But now it's stump removal time. And with that, Doug, here it comes. W4DCS. This is W4KR.
Yeah, W4KR in the group. W4DCS. Okay, Stan. Fine business. Good signals all the way around. We've got some overcast and a little bit of fog here, which is kind of strange. 62 degrees. And Steve, I don't envy on a plumbing project. Being a do-it-yourselfer, I'll tell you, if I could ever go to the hardware store just one time for a plumbing job, that would be a milestone for me. That's a 4-inch pipe. That must be a high-pressure line. And yeah, I'd be careful with that. You might want to get a pro to do that for you. just break down and give it up. I'd be scared if it was like a main line coming in. That's the only 4-inch stuff I think I have here, and it's high pressure, so I'd be scared to fool with that myself. But anyway, yeah, another day in infamy yesterday with the Charlie Kirk thing. It's got to be crazy. Things are so darn polarized. It's a crazy world. But anyway, sorry about your friend there, Brian. Boy, it just brings it to the forefront how fragile life is, and yeah, I hate the guy had to go like that after all those years of work and everything. Anyway, enough out of me. Glenn, here you go. N4AK, W4DCS.
Okay, Doug. Nice signal in here this morning. This is November 4 Alpha Kilo. I've got most everybody's signals listed here. Dave, you were 20 over 9 this morning. And I don't know if you saw the picture of you and Don down on the floor at Ken's trying to rework his power supply. So I don't know if you saw that picture. I got Don's call wrong. Good luck, Steve, on your plumbing problem. Used to be a small town, or all towns had a plumbing store that you could go into the plumbing store, give them a sketch, and they would present exactly what you need. I'm not sure you could do that at Home Depot, but you might. The Home Depot over in Greenville hired a guy that was a plumber. Buddy, you got a nice signal. Of course, good audio here this morning. John, you're 30 over 9 with your T150. Brian, I was completely distracted. Didn't record what you said, but it was as loud as the others. Cliff is 30 over 9. Cliff, I believe I heard a train going by. So you might let me know if you're living near the tracks enough so I heard a train whistle go by. And Stan, you're 30 over 9 with an upward modulation. And Doug was 15 over. I'm on FTDX 10 this morning, SB200. I had to put in some new 572Bs yesterday. Now I got my power level back up. And they were old 572Bs, but the ones I had in there were Chinese, and they had just become weak. Most I could get out of this rig was 300 watts. Of course, we're praying for Charlie Kirk's family, but more than that, we're now hopefully praying for our country. My most disturbing thing is that the young people have no idea how important capitalism is. I blame that on the school system, and we need to let people know that capitalism makes things work for us, that we're such a great country and we can help others. So much for that. Charlie to you, W4MEC N4AK.
N4AK in the group. W4MEC. Well, good morning, fellas. It's about 47 degrees here, clear skies. Wondering about my birds. All my birds are gone. Been gone for a while now, and only 1 or 2 squirrels the same way. Don't know what happened to them. They did this every year about this time. Bird feeder, they haven't filled them up in like 10 days. You know, the squirrels aren't eating. So we have a hawk around here, but I don't think he cleaned the whole population out. Maybe they moved off till he leaves, but we'll see. Charlie Kirk, yeah, that man was the only thing that man did was present the facts, the truth, and he did it eloquently, without yelling, without cursing, even though he was yelled at and cursed at. And he could refute just about any whack job's, you know, opinion on stuff and give them nothing but the truth and the facts. So that's a big loss there. I saw one meme that said, or a comment that said, we lost Charlie Kirk, but we just created 1,000 more, kind of get motivated. But I don't know if they can be that good. Let's see, what else? The putting in the tea. I did the exact same thing, putting in a sanitary tea in cast iron line going to the septic tank when I added a bathroom. And I rented, of course you don't have to rent, you can probably use a saber saw and a blade. I rented a cutoff saw with a big enough wheel to go through the pipe. I can't remember if it was 6-inch or 4-inch. And I cut it off. Well, I had to dig out under the dirt there so I could get to it. It was partially laying in the dirt under the house. So I measured the width of the sanitary tea fixture, and it was the kind that didn't have a bell end. It was a kind that would fit between 2 bell ends. And I cut the pipe the exact distance of that T, and I slipped onto rubber couplings, the kind that have the large hose clamp, screw-type hose clamp. Slid that on there, put that T in there, put it in the right location, slid the couplings on, tightened it down. It's been there for 30 years, no problem. So you might consider doing that. Don't even worry about if you can get a T that doesn't have a bell in there that's supposed to have a pipe fit in it. You want one that doesn't. So, and they work well, and about the simplest way you can do it. Let's see what else we got here. Got my birds anyway, and I think that covered my comments for right now. So, George, if you copy, K4GDN, W4MEC.
W4MEC and the old friends, K4GDN. And everybody's coming in here pretty well this morning. There is some QSB, and they got about half of you good, but everybody else is coming in fairly well. And it's definitely a sad day. I think we need to look at where the money's coming from on these radical left groups, and that's what we need to go after. I think otherwise we're heading for a civil war eventually. It just doesn't seem like there's any other thing out there that's going to cure them. They need to get a dose of their own medicine. Anyway, we're running the Viking to about 100 watts out, listening on the HRO5, the Fritz Memorial Station, I guess you could say. And here in Myrtle Beach, it's kind of overcast right now, almost a little cloudy. It's supposed to clear off and warm up a little bit today, but it's still fairly comfortable here. Humidity hasn't gotten up yet, but they say it's coming back at least by the weekend and the first of next week. Anyway, and Steve, I don't envy you with your plumbing problem, but particularly if that's a high pressure line, that's going to be something that's kind of interesting to take care of. Anyway, with that, we'll turn it back to you, Dave. WA4LLR to the K4GDN.
Okay, George, fine business. Good signal up here today. Good and strong. Well, let me stand by. Do we have any other check-ins for the old friends? Come down. Okay. Guess we've got everybody for today at this point. But the Viking sounds good up this way, George. And Charlie, you've got a good signal as always. And you know, it's kind of interesting. It appears from history that during times of persecution, especially for the Christian church, it seems those are the times when it had the most growth. Somebody likened it to a fire in a broom sage field. A broom sage field gets on fire, you go out there and try to stomp it out, and all you do is spread it. So I think what some of the comments somebody made was pretty accurate. Glenn, good morning to you. The FTDX10 sounds good, and yes, I saw I saw that photo of Don and I at Ken's. Boy, I sure miss Ken. Appreciate you putting that on. Good morning again, Doug. Sounding good up this way. And Stan, you know, we can surmise about, you know, who was behind that act. Ultimately, we know it was the Prince of Darkness. because what he was, what Charlie was sharing was very detrimental to the enemy's kingdom on several fronts. Let's see here. Cliff enjoyed the sound of the train. It was coming through nice and clear. Let's see, the Globe Champ's doing a great job for you. Brian, sorry about your friend. I really hate that. John, glad to hear the noise is still down considerably from what it's been. And Buddy, good deal on getting the meter repaired for Butch. Steve, 32V3 sounds very good. Let's see here. What else is going on? Space weather's fairly calm today. Sunspot count's 94. Solar flux index is 121, and the K is 2.67. We do have a pretty good-sized coronal hole facing us, which we might get something from in a bit, but we'll just have to wait and see. Well, of course, this day is the day we remember the terrorist attack on the Trade Center towers and the Pentagon. A few other items from this day in history. On this day in 2008, major fire erupted in the tunnel under the English Channel, and it was pretty much blocked until early the following year. One item of a lighter note, on this day in 1967, the Carol Burnett Show premiered on CBS, and my favorite part of that was the interaction between Tim Conway and Harvey Korman. Tim was dead certain and centered on getting Harvey to blow his line or crack him up, and that was the whole thing with me for watching the show, just to see what Tim Conway was going to do to Harvey Korman. Anyway, Steve, you got a lot of advice there on the plumbing issue, buddy, and I wish you well. Plumbing is one of my least favorite things. So let's see, I'm running the Johnson 500, receiving on the 183D. So we'll go ahead and send it back around. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, N4LQ. Yeah, the funniest Harvey Korman, Tim Conway skit was the dentist. And if you get a chance, go to YouTube and type in Tim Conway, the dentist, and you'll, it is just hilarious to watch. I think he's giving him a shot of Novocaine, and he gave it to himself. Oh boy. Well, appreciate all the advice. Matter of fact, there is one rubber coupling in here where I had had a bathroom added one time, and they had to use rubber because the pipe wouldn't move. And this is something of my own design. I've got a septic tank, and the output of the septic tank is 4-inch PVC, and I want to put a tap in there so that I can add root killer when I need to, and I'm going to be doing that every 6 months or so for a while, just to try to ensure there's no roots in the line. And you can add it to the other side. You can flush it down the commode, but it's not good for the septic tank as far as bacteria. And so I have got a call into a septic tank company, and I'm so far they haven't shown a great deal of interest in coming out and doing that. But it's probably going to have to dig a hole about 2 feet deep and get down in there and put that coupling in and the T, and then a standpipe coming up with a screw cap on it, so I can use that when I want to put that. Of course, this house was built back in '84, and it's the original leach line distribution field or drain field, whatever you want to call it. And I got a lot of trees, so I'm sure there's some roots in there. Trying to catch it before it becomes a problem. Yeah, Brian, that Champ sounds great. It sounds so much better than that GRC9. It's like listening to hi-fi. You know, it's just a nice, clean sound, and okay on the SP600. Well, see, I think that's about it. I am working on a new antenna, as I usually am, and this is for 160 meter DX. I'm going to try to work Europe this winter on 160 and see how that goes. So I'm putting up an inverted L with an elevated counterpoise, and so far I've got the vertical part done, and I built a choke for the input, and today I'm going to run a one counterpoise and give it a try, compare it against the inverted V, see how that works out, and I can monitor the results on the reverse beacon and see where my signal's landing and so forth, and compare the two antennas. So with that, buddy, it's all yours. WB4ARK, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WB4ARK. Well, it sounds like you've got the plumbing issue covered, and looks like you're on the way to covering the antenna issue. I hope you'll keep us informed as to how well it's doing this winter. I wonder how the atmospheric conditions will be this winter. Seems like we're having some changes in our weather system, which who knows what's going to happen. Looks like the hurricane issue might be on the wane. It might not be as bad a year as they predicted it was going to be, so that's a good thing. Hopefully we won't have a bad year. We've had enough destruction from storms here as of late, and we certainly don't need any more. I guess that's about it. I think that well, your 300 watts, I wouldn't sneeze at 300 watts, Glenn. That's a good bit of power. But no telling how much you improved your output or your input power. You didn't comment on that. So with that, we'll send it on over to KZ4B, WB4ARK.
Okay, WB4ARK and the group, KZ4B, fine business, buddy, great signal as usual, and good audio. I am really enjoying being able to hear all the good AM signals. It is a pleasure. Shifting gears, I did want to comment that I think Charlie Kirk was about the closest thing to an angel around these days, and they took him out. I don't know who they is, but I hope they find out. And you can imagine the rest of my thoughts on that. Shifting gears again, this is unbelievable. Over 2 years ago, and I can't remember which Hamfest it was, I think it might have been Huntsville, I ordered a noise-canceling speaker from West Mountain Radio over 2 years ago. And I was checking the credit card results, and there was a charge that popped up of I think it was like $190 or something, whatever the sale price was of the noise canceling speaker. Only I didn't know what it was, but it said West Mountain Radio. So I called them, because I hadn't ordered anything from West Mountain Radio in recent living memory. And the lady said, yes, we sent you a noise canceling speaker. And I said, well, I don't recall having ordered it. And she said, oh, you did. And I said, well, when did I order it? And she said, well, it's a little over 2 years ago. I thought, holy crap. I said, please cancel it. And, you know, she was very nice. And I tried to be nice. But the nerve of, it was supposed to be back ordered and be available in a matter of a few months. So, from the tone of her voice, I kind of got the impression I wasn't the only person calling. Boy, that really takes nerve. And, anyway, I thought I would share that. Several suggestions on the slip joint have put, especially like a compression coupling. That's perfect advice, Steve. That should get you where you need to go. The only problem is I have never seen a compression coupling that diameter. You know, who's got a 4-inch wrench? I'd like to know, Charlie, when it gets around to you, how do you tighten the sucker up? Is it, that's a pretty big span for a, that's one hell of a monkey wrench, or whatever. So, that's got my curiosity up. That's what you need, but I guess a chain wrench really would be the way to handle that. And please elaborate, Charlie. So on that note, over to Brian. And Brian, you really do sound great. I don't always, you know, only 15 miles away, I don't always copy you well because the signal goes straight up. But you're coming in quite nicely. So KN4R in the group, KZ4B, over.
Okay, John. Very good. KZ4B in the Thursday Old Friends. Brian, KN4R, returning. Very good on all. John, you got to watch out for that auto renew. We run into that a few times recently, so I don't know how or why, but it seems to be happening more and more, and I can understand why, but let's see. I'm just going down the list. Charlie, I'm going to send you some squirrels, FedEx. I've still got plenty, though you're right, the birds have slowed down around here too. Let's see, I want to make sure everybody has on their calendar the Asheville radio swap meet on the 20th, September 20th, in the morning up at the Asheville Radio Museum in the covered parking lot. They're going to be selling some duplicates. I think they had some Drake lines and some Collins lines that they'll be selling, among other things. And so it's going to be an antique radio event and a ham fest, so to speak. So I hope we can see some folks up there. And Cliff, I wonder if you're going to the Asheville meet on the 20th, or you're going to go up to Kutztown on the 19th and the 20th. So, and Steve, okay on the new DX antenna. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Today is going to be a yard day for me. I'm trying to catch up or make some progress in some areas. So, and thanks for the comments. So, over to you, Cliff. Oh, and I love that train back there, Cliff. Are you sure you live near a train track, or do you just have a toy train there in the there at your operating position? WB4NKL in the group, KN4R. KN4R, it's WB4NKL. I'm about a quarter of a mile from the tracks, but up above them, and sound goes up, so it's pretty loud up here in this metal building when the train comes by. I've tried to get away from the tracks all my life, and I've lived beside them and worked on them. Clinchville over there was the competition to the Norfolk Southern that's down here, but worked over there for 37 years, so I just can't get away from these train tracks. Not going to be able to make the Asheville swap meet. I will be up in Kutztown, Brian. That's the plan anyway. Going up on next Thursday. Be leaving out there next Thursday morning. So looking forward to that. And I'm going down to Dandridge or Morristown Hamfest Saturday. They're having a little swap meet down there, which I've never been to, but we'll try that one out there Saturday. I'm not going to get to stay too long. I've got a picnic I've got to be back to over in Irwin, Tennessee, about 11 o'clock, so I'll go down there and probably have to leave by 9:30 or so. So I'll send it on around. John, what Charlie's talking about is a rubber sleeve. I think that fastens with gear clamp, so you just need a screwdriver for that. But the one I was talking about, you would need some kind of a big wrench or something to tighten it up. I've used those out on the water line coming up here, an 1.5-inch water line one time that broke close to the meter, and I used one of those down there for the 1.5-inch PVC pipe. Never have had any problems out of it, but I'm sure it wouldn't have any problem with the sewer line where there's not much pressure on it. Probably wouldn't have to hand tight, would probably be fine on the sewer line. Go ahead, Stan. W4KR, WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff, WB4NKL, W4KR. Well, this house was built in 1980, and for some reason, the sewer pipe on its way to the septic tank, the sewer line for the kitchen drain line was 1.5 inches. Now people that built the house never put a disposal in it, so it didn't matter much, but we came along and the lady of the house decreed that there would be a disposal put in, which her husband dutifully did. And about 6 months later, all hell broke loose when the line got plugged. And the problem with that was that 1.5-inch line runs down a wall and then across a room in the basement and then down all the way underground, where it hinges up with a 4-inch line underground where the rest of the house is tied to. Well, that room that it crosses in the basement is the room I'm sitting in right now, and that 1.5-inch wall is, or that 1.5-inch line is goes down the outside wall here next to the window, and there was never any Y put in there to blow it out or do whatever you have to do. So the kitchen engineer at that time was reminded that after we got the flood in here fixed up, I put a Y in that. Then I used it to just cut it. Actually, cut it horizontally. Just cut it straight with a hacksaw, and knocked out a chunk of it, and put the Y in. And after that got going, the kitchen engineer was, it was suggested to her, God bless her soul, that, that run the water, please, darling, run the water for a long time. If you're going to put stuff down that disposal, you better flush it good, which she did. And about once a year, I see things up in the kitchen that suggest that the water's not running down like it should. So I come down here, go in the corner, open up the Y, and blow it out. I say blow it out. I use the water line to do the water line from the well to do it. And it's got an expandable doohickey on the thing that looks like it's all black and rigid, and it resembles a human male appurtenance. I've got two sizes of them, big and bigger. That is in the plumbing line. I'll leave the other one alone. And that keeps it going. So, Steve, good luck with it. Good luck with it. Dave, your comments about Brother Kirk, indeed. That's why I suggested earlier who is the real perpetrator. I think God-loving people have a pretty good idea. With that, Doug, here it comes, and we'll carry on here. W4DCS, copying everybody well. A lot of good comments this morning. Glad to hear them. W4DCS, this is W4KR.
Yeah, W4KR in the group, W4DCS. Okay, Stan. Yeah, good copy on everybody this morning. Cliff, I also enjoyed your train in the background. That's really cool. I always enjoy it when the train goes by there. And he must be crossing some intersections because he's on the horn, so that is cool. And I guess I was having a senior moment or something talking about 4-inch high-pressure line. Mine's 1.5 inches coming in. At the house I lived in Salisbury, evidently it had a septic, and there must have been a problem at some time because the 4-inch iron pipe down in the basement, before it, maybe a few feet up before it ran out of the house, had been cut. And whoever did that put in one of those flexible PVC joints with the worm gear type ring connectors. And that's probably something. Of course, you're trying to put a T in, so that complicates it. But anyways, good luck with that, Steve. And yeah, with that, I'll just say 73. I haven't had my breakfast yet, so I'm going to head up to the kitchen, whip up some oatmeal, and get on with the program around here. So, Dave, thanks for calling it, and 73 all the way around. Glenn, here it comes, N4AK W4DCS.
Okay, Doug. Your signal is about the best I've ever heard it. It's 20 over 9 now. You've caught up. The band's improving a little bit. And Brian, I didn't give you a signal report before. You're 15 over 9, so you have a nice signal in here today. Very nice. 2 nights ago, I looked out on the back porch where we feed the cat, and there was a very beautiful skunk. And then my daughter started running toward the door. I said, no, we're just going to stop right here and let the skunk eat all the cat food it wants and let it wander off on its own. So we got by without exciting the skunk. In Georgia, if the Civil War comes, it looks like the conservatives might have more guns than the other side. And a comment on the Carol Burnett show, and also Red Skelton. It's amazing how back then the comedy was funnier, it was clean. And now a lot of these comedy shows, and there are women on there doing, quote, comedy, but they're using the F word and other things, and it's just amazing. They're really not that funny. But the Carol Burnett show and Red Skeleton, boy, they were great. I'll pass along my 7.3s on this one and listen till the end. Thanks very much, Dave, for calling it for us. Charlie, over to you, W4MEC N4AK.
N4AK and the group W4MEC. Oh, good, Glenn. I forgot to mention I'm running the DX100B, the SX100 this morning. I was going to fire up the BC375, but I was hanging out my bird feeders and my hummingbird feeder, and I dropped one of the hummingbird feeders. I was going to put it on the hook there, and it's like, put it on the hook, I was like a 1/16 of an inch too short of the hook, and when I let go it hit the ground, so I had to go clean it and then put the hummingbird food in it and warm it up. And you got to warm it up. You don't want to put a icebox hummingbird food in it because actually it'll kill them. So I had to warm it up a little bit, and I went out and hung it out there. So anyway, so that took up all my time to fire up the other gear and make sure it was stable before I got on the air here, and I looked at the clock. It was 1 minute till, and flipped these two on real quick. So I agree 1,000%, Glenn. The comedy back then was just downright funny and clean. And when I used to have cable TV and satellite, one of the things they gave you in that package was Comedy Central. And if you watch that garbage, you get on there and you could barely understand the jokes because they would beep all the curse words out, and it sounded like a kid on a whistle. There were so many beeps in there, and I just can't. And people were laughing, and I'm going, man, people are pretty much sick, listening, laughing at some of this garbage. But like we mentioned, that's the modern world there. John, that's a rubber a coupling, and it's not a hard rubber. It's not a soft rubber, and it's pretty good shape. It's thick, and 1/4 inch or so, and it comes with two large hose clamps. The stainless steel hose clamps. All you do is tighten it down with a screwdriver. So, and the main thing is to get the close diameter. You don't want to. If you need a 2-inch one, but they got a 3 in the store, and that's all they got. You don't want to do that. You'll never get it tight enough. It'll leak. So you want to get it the right size. But like I say, mine's been under there for 30 years, and I crawl under the house every now and then, and no problem. That drain line thing, Stan, was very reminiscent to mine. They actually used a piece of 1.5-inch galvanized steel pipe for the drain from the kitchen to where it tied into the cast iron, where they oak them and let it in that 1.5 inch into about a 2-inch piece of cast iron coupling. And I started smelling something under the house one time, and I got in there and looked, and that piece of pipe had split almost from one end to the other on the bottom, and the water was seeping out through the split there. And I don't really know why. I don't think it was frozen, to be honest with you, and nothing else froze, and it wasn't wintertime. So anyway, I ended up splicing in using those rubber couplings, a piece of PVC pipe, which has worked fine ever since. So, and I thought the rule of thumb was never use a garbage disposal on a septic system. So we don't have one of those. So we're don't have issues with pipes plugging up. So skunk in the backyard. Well. That's the reason I bring in my bird feeders and at night, because of skunks and raccoons and deer and bear. So I had to change the hook the way I hang up one of my bird feeders, because the darn raccoon would take it off the hook, dump it on the ground, open it up and eat it all. So I had to get a different kind of hook, and if I didn't get out there soon enough, sometimes I didn't get them in to 9 or 10 o'clock. They'd be out there at 8:30 stealing all the food. So this keeps them from getting it off the hook, but they try. I swear they try. They get that hook messed up on a piece of chain. They try and pull the lid off, and they're just working at it, but they don't get it. Now what they do is they get on the pole that holds it up, which has got a squirrel keeper from keeping the squirrels from climbing the pole, and they shake the darn thing. They shake it and it makes the stuff come out of the bottom, and then they get on the ground and eat it, so you can't win. So anyway, let's see. My son had a bear. You were talking about, I was going to mention that. A pretty good size one, 250 to 350 pound one, walking, wanting to go up his front porch steps there. He caught it on one of his cameras. And just lumbering along there, he's been seeing bear scat in the yard all over the place, and finally he made an appearance on the camera. He's a pretty good size one. But, you know, he just went about his business and went back in the woods. So, let's see. George, if you copy, K4GDN, W4MEC.
Okay, W4MEC and the room's K4GDN. And the QSB is really setting in. Got probably over 90% of Glenn and about half of Charlie. So I'm going to say 73 on this round. And talking about bird feeders, we don't have to bring ours in at night. Our biggest problem is with the squirrels. And where our bird feeders are, from my back porch, I can take a shot at them and usually let them get out on the ground. And that's when I get them. But the squirrels are the biggest problem. And we still have a couple of hummingbirds coming around. Saw at least 2 of them last night. So with that, I'm going to say 73. Thanks for calling the net, Dave, and hopefully I'll be in here next Tuesday. So coming to you, Dave. WA4LLR to beat, K4GDN. 73, guys.
All right, George, fine business. 7-3 to you, and your signal has stayed strong this morning. So good band conditions. Let's see. George is signed, Glenn signed, and Doug signed, but we'll still do a 73 round. Steve, I don't know how many times I've watched that dentist sketch with Tim and Harvey, and it cracks me up every time. He's got the needle of the Novocaine or whatever they're using, and stabs himself in the hand, stabs himself in the leg. He's hobbling around, and Harvey cannot keep a straight face. He's in stitches, but it is great. Good luck on your 160 antenna, buddy. I hope you're right about a mild hurricane season this year, and we don't know what the weather's going to do. Brian, don't work too hard on the yard work. Cliff, sorry you're not going to make Asheville a week from Saturday. We hope to be out there. And Glenn, if you're still listening, yeah, we got skunks too. Ours are digging up the backyard trying to catch moles. And clean comedy. Boy, that's a thing of the past. And Charlie, you were talking about that. You know, my opinion is in those days, you had clean comedy because you had people with real talent. And I think today they make up for a lack of talent by an excess of filth. Or at least that's my opinion. Anyway, we'll go ahead and do a quick 73 round. Let's see, Stan, I believe you're still there. You give it to Charlie. So, N4LQ, WA4LLR.
N4LQ. All right, I'm just watching a session of the EU Parliament yesterday. Requested a minute's silence for Charlie Kirk, and they were denied. And so all the conservatives just stood up and gave him their own honor right in the middle of the thing. Boy, isn't that something? All right, well, it's I feel like I've been to the plumbers convention today. I appreciate all the advice. We'll say 73s. Hope to see somebody tonight on 160 at 1864 lower sideband. If you can make it, we'll be there. Over to Buddy, WB4ARK, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WB4ARK. Well, nothing else here, so we'll say 73, and everybody have a great rest of this week, and thanks for calling the net. Dave, we'll see you later on. WB4ARK, clear.
Okay, WB4ARK and the group KZ4B. Fine business, buddy. Dave, thanks for calling the net. And everybody be sure and pray for Charlie Kirk's family. Brian, take it away. KN4R in the group, KZ4B, over.
Okay, John, KZ4B in the group, KN4R. Well, I have enjoyed it, and I hope everybody continues to enjoy this wonderful weather. And Steve, I'm going to try to get my 160 antenna-ups one of these days. So anyway, 73s, and Cliff, have fun up at Kutztown. If you happen to see anything that reminds you of me, please give me a call. So 73s to all. WB4NKL in the group, KN4R.
Okay, Brian, KN4R, WB4NKL. I'm sure our friend Steve Finelli will probably be up there. And he sold all the stuff, those Pearsons there back in the spring. I'm glad I didn't go, or I'd probably had one of the KP81s sitting here on the shelf. So, good deal on the hurricane season. We're coming up on the anniversary of Helene. Hope we never see anything like that again. I think it's 27th of September. It's on in the future here a little bit. And yeah, Steve, that Dennis sketch, that's one of my favorites too. I'm like Dave, I can't watch it without laughing. And that was always a good one. 73s, thanks for calling it, Dave, and we'll catch everybody there Sunday, I guess. Go ahead, Stan, W4KR, WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff, WB4NKL, W4KR. John, same thing happened in the House of Representatives yesterday afternoon. The minority party refused to participate. Anyway, they too their comeuppance shall occur too. I think it's going to be interesting a year and a half from now to revisit yesterday. I think we'll see some manifestation of yesterday then. With that, good morning, everybody. Lord willing, we'll see everybody Sunday, and be well. Back to you, Charlie. And by the way, I thankfully this one was all PVC. W4MEC, W4KR. Good morning.
Very good, Stan. W4KR and the group. W4MEC. There was a post on X, and because J.D. Vance had made a comment about that shooting, and someone took his comment, reposted it, and added the caption, "You're next." So that's the level of hate that we've got going. And pretty much since John Wilkes Booth, it's been the opposition side doing all the shooting, so against the conservative side. So, yeah, you know, remember when they used to tell us that we needed to fear the white supremacists and the Nazis? Well, they haven't shot anybody lately now, have they? So anyway, let's see. I'm not sure if George's still there. I didn't pay him. I'll say 7-3 to everybody. We'll see you on Thursday, and I'll try and make the darn net there, Steve, and tonight, because I got a question about your inverted L. And so, George, if you're there, if not, take it away, Dave. K4GDN, W4MEC.
Yeah, he signed on the last one. All right, gentlemen, thank you for your participation in the net today. Enjoyed it. Everybody had good signals. So, 7-3, God bless, and yeah, as has been said, pray for the Kirk family and pray for the nation. Lord willing, we'll catch up with you Sunday afternoon. This is WA4LLR, Dave in Burnsville, North Carolina, closing this session of the Old Friends Net. Everybody have a great day.
N4LQ, this is KG4IU.
KG4IUQ, hello Mark, go ahead.
Okay, I believe it's the start time for the net, so I've been sitting here listening for a while. I just wonder, how is this sounding? Is it distorted, this transmitter? Does it sound okay right now?
Oh no, it's not distorted at all. Sounds good, Mark.
me on that 160 net. I won't hold you up now. I'm going to get off here pretty soon.
I hope you can make it, and yeah, it's at 8 o'clock, so we'll see you tonight then.
Okay, thank you very much, 73. Have a good day. 74 ID.
Yeah, good night. 10-4 LQ, clear.